Hey guys, how are you all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic and welcome back to the channel. And today with you guys is another Star Wars video. I know I want to save most of my Star Wars videos for Star Wars month, which is happening in December on my channel. However, The Mandalorian just came out on Disney Plus on November 12th. I watched it this morning on the 14th, and let me tell you, it is freaking awesome. Now, this is going to be a review of The Mandalorian Chapter 1, which is the first episode, which is around 35 to 40 minutes, which is a little bit longer than most episodes, but I think it works. And, of course, this will be spoilers. However, there will be spoilers in the end of the video. So once I give you my final review and grade letter for the episode, then I will briefly talk about spoilers. So if you have not seen the episode, you can watch this video up until I give my rating, and then you can stop watching because that's when spoilers are going to go. So hope you guys know that, and so don't get pissed at me if you saw any spoilers. Anyway, what I think I would do right now, what I'm going to do is briefly tell you the characters, because I normally memorize everything about franchises I like. However, I just saw this morning, and I was pretty freaking tired. I'm going to rewatch it again tonight, and, just to get some more of the lore and characters down. But what I'm going to do now is just go on my computer right here and tell you the names of the characters so that you know who I'm talking about. So, of course, we have Pedro Pascal as the bounty hunter, or the Mandalorian, which is the guy, in question here, the show dude. We have Greef Karga, who is the guy who plays, Carl Weathers plays Greef Karga, can't speak, who is the man who gets the Mandalorian bounty assignments. So this is the dude who, goes, hey, Mandalorian, we got some new assignment for you. We got a new bounty for you to hunt. And so that is that guy. Of course, he meets him in the bar. We have the Client. His name is the Client, kind of like the Mandalorian. There are two mysterious mysteries here. And, of course, he's the mysterious man, well, they got me, who commissions the Mandalorian for a new bounty hunt. So he's that older guy with the doctor who's like, hey, I have a bounty. We got to get you this guy, whatever. Of course, we have to, what's his name? Dr. Pershing, who appears to be working with the Client and tried to acquire the bounty, which, of course, is the 50-year-old person they're trying to get, kind of an older person. And then, of course, we have Kuil, or Ku. I'm usually good at this. I don't really think they even said his name. Kuil, I'm just going to say Kuil, is an Ugnaught. Of course, Ugnaughts were in The Empire Strikes Back, a.k.a. Episode 5, on Cloud City Bespin. So, he, of course, is a person who helps the Mandalorian, gives him his ride to capture the, bounty in question. And, of course, we have, I first thought this was IG-88, the bounty hunter from Empire, but Taika Waititi plays, of course, IG-11, and he is also a bounty droid who is essentially trying to find this hunt as well as the Mandalorian. So, I believe, yeah, so that's all we have on that. So those are the characters in this episode. So, what did I think? Well, I think Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni did a fantastic job. I really, really enjoyed it. This is coming from a person who generally loves all things Star Wars. I have my problems with every Star Wars movie, except for a few of them. I think only maybe like 3 of them are pretty much flawless, in my opinion. I have a quarrel with every single one, I think. There are a lot of issues in some of them, and there are pretty much no issues in some of the other ones. So, again, in December, I'll be reviewing all the movies, and you'll hear what I have to say about those later. But, with regard to, like I said, I'm a Star Wars fan that doesn't hate. I'm not a person who's like, oh, Kathleen Kennedy, woman, I'm not SJW, all that crap. I have nothing to do with that. I'm just a fan of Star Wars who does not hate. I do not love everything about Star Wars. I do have some of my problems with it, like I said, but I'm generally a person who, sees something Star Wars and doesn't go, oh, it's Disney, or, something like that. I really do. I think I like everything Star Wars for the most part, and this is no exception. I love The Mandalorian. Of course, there's only 1 episode so far, or Chapter 1, so there's probably going to be a few episodes. I don't think it's going to be like, the Freemaker Adventures, which is that Lego show, or Clone Wars, or Rebels, or even Resistance, where there's like a crap ton of episodes and seasons. I don't think it's going to be a super long show, because it is canon, and it is live action. Of course, that takes a longer time to film than animation, and I know animation is harder to make, but you know what I'm saying for filming and all that. So, they probably have a few episodes down. Of course, in the trailer, we say Cara Dune, who is, of course, not in this episode. She's that girl. We'll have to see how that works. However, Dave Filoni did a great job, of course, directing this. Of course, he did the Clone Wars and the Rebels TV shows, which are canon, even though they're animated. They are canon. And those shows are great, by the way. I love them. They're really cool. I have not watched Resistance yet. I have it on DVD. I got it for my birthday, and I really want to watch it. I'm going to finish up Freemaker and then work on that one. So, but with that being said, Dave Filoni is a good person. I do think that everyone complaining that he should take over Kathleen Kennedy and all these guys and Bob Iger and whatever, I don't think that's completely correct. I think that he should stay in his own kind of animation Mandalorian zone and let Kathleen do the movies, because in my opinion, just my opinion, don't kill me. The Disney Star Wars movies, Force Awakens, Last Jedi, Solo, and Rogue One, and Mandalorian, are the best things that Star Wars has ever seen, in my opinion. They are the best, by far. Galaxies far. And of course, like I was saying, this is no exception. It is a TV show. It is canon to the Skywalker saga. However, this is interesting because, you know, we have the Clone Wars TV show, and we have Rebels, and we have Resistance. Those three shows are animated, and they are canon. This is the first live-action canon Star Wars show, and it looks great, by the way. I haven't seen Game of Thrones, or Vikings, or any of these, you know, high-profile shows. I'm not into it. If you want me to review something, whatever, but I don't really have cable, so I can't really watch it. But anyway, with the whole regard to, you know, a lot of live-action TV shows don't have the biggest budget, right? And I know there's a huge following for shows like Doctor Who and, you know, all those type of shows, but they don't look good. And maybe they got better, but from what I've seen, they don't look good. The CGI is very strange. Even some of the DC shows like Supergirl and The Flash, I mean, and Arrow, some of the CGI in that is extremely questionable, and it's like, really? The DC movies look great for the most part. Why would you F them up with the TV show? And that's what I was worried about, because I'm like, Star Wars looks great. You know, the prequels, yeah, it's a barf ton of CGI, but they generally look pretty good. The originals, they're fine, you know, whatever. The sequels, they look freaking brilliant. You know, Force Awakens, Last Jedi, Rogue One, and Solo, they look amazing. So I'm like, okay, is Mandalorian going to look good, or is it going to look like crap? It is a TV show. They probably have a huge budget because it's Disney. Who knows, right? And needless to say, this looks fantastic. This is the best-looking show I've ever seen in live action. It looks amazing. There's one shot where that Ugnaught is trying to teach the Mandalorian how to ride it so that he can go get his bounty. Of course, that's when he meets IG-11. However, that didn't look good in my opinion. I mean, seriously, but see, it's hard to explain because when they're in space and they're in the ships and you see ships docking and they're in the desert and, you know, the locations and the environments, they look so alive. And some of it is practical, which is great. It's really nice to see practical use in a TV show because they could have easily went, oh, it's a TV show, CGI everything, we don't have time. We got to work on the movies, you know, or whatever. But they're taking the time to do it right, which is nice. You know, The Last Jedi, I know everyone hates that. I love it. But that movie has a lot of CGI, but it also has a lot of practical effects, like the porgs. And remember that scene when Rey and Kylo were touching hands? They weren't having finger sex, by the way. I'm going to talk about that in December. Luke goes like this. He says, stop! And the freaking, you know, the bricks go flying. That was done practically. And a lot of these things are, you know, of course the originals were a lot of practical things, but the prequels didn't really have a lot of practical things. It was more CGI, which isn't a big deal, but, you know, it's kind of cool to know that we're doing something different with this show in the long run. So, of course, there's not a whole lot to know about the plot. Basically, you get this Mandalorian guy who is presumably from Mandalore, who is a bounty hunter, who essentially is kind of like, basically when George Lucas wanted to create the original Star Wars, or A New Hope, Episode 4, he wanted Han Solo to be a pirate kind of guy, you know, a smuggler, a guy who, you know, shoots second, so to speak, not shoot first type thing. And I think they kind of nailed that with his character. But the Mandalorian is that character. I mean, he's Han Solo, but he's like 14 times that, you know. He even sounds like Pedro Pascal, is, of course, he was in Game of Thrones and something else. He was in Kingsman: The Golden Circle. He was, I think, Agent Whiskey, I think. And he was, you know, he kind of sounds like this, you know, hey, I'm a Mandalorian, you know. You got any credits? You know, he's kind of like that Western cowboy kind of feel to it, which is pretty cool. You know, he's got the lasso thing, he's got the laser. It's really cool. Well, laser blaster, you know. I know cowboys don't have blasters, but you know what I mean. So I think that character is really cool. Of course, it is a very mysterious character so far. We don't know too much about him. But, time being, it looks fantastic. I mean, the character design, he looks so badass. And of course, you also see the IG-11, who is... I didn't even realize it was Taika Waititi, because normally that guy who directed Thor Ragnarok, he directed Jojo Rabbit, he plays Adolf Hitler in that film. He was also in Green Lantern, but we don't talk about that. To be honest, I kind of enjoyed Green Lantern, but it is what it is. I didn't realize it was him, because I'm watching it, and I look at the credits, you know, after it was over, and I'm like, oh, that's him, wow, okay. Because it wasn't that funny. He was kind of funny, but I'm like, oh, it's a droid. You know, droids are usually the comic relief in Star Wars. That can kind of be a negative thing as well as a positive thing, but this was a positive. I really did like IG-11. I loved all the characters. The client was mysterious. The doctor was mysterious. All of these characters, and it's just so great, man. Now that Disney owns Star Wars, yeah, I know The Rise of Skywalker is the end of the Skywalker saga, all 9 films. However, with the Mandalorian show, with the new Clone Wars Season 7, with presumably all these new Star Wars things that are going to be canon, it really fleshes out the universe in a way that we've never seen before, you know, if Disney weren't to acquire it. And I think The Mandalorian does a great job of that. It's great at world building. It's great at CGI. It's great at the story so far, and I know it's only a 40-minute roughly story so far, so there is a lot we don't know, but of course, you know, as it goes along, we will know. But I really did enjoy it. I think it's a great show so far. No complaints here. The writing is fine. The action scenes are great. The plot is great. CGI, like I said, everything really sticks. I can't really think of any negatives, honestly. I mean, a big thing is that it looks good, you know, because from a TV show, and I know it's a Disney show, so it's bound to look, you know, better than some other shows, but, you know, I watch some of these live-action TV shows, and I'm like, it just doesn't look as good as the movies, you know? Why can't that be? And yes, The Mandalorian does not look as good as the Star Wars films, especially Last Jedi, which I think is the best-looking Star Wars film ever. Solo looks great, too. But, however, like I said, there are a few CGI things where I'm like, oh, that creature looks a little weird, or that ship in space looks a little weird. But other than that, I mean, that's being nitpicky. This show looks freaking good, man. And again, I'm going to be rewatching it again tonight to get a better feel for it. But my honest reactions are, I love The Mandalorian. It is so much fun. It's funny. It's action-packed. It's got great world building. And I can't wait to see what happens. So I'm going to give The Mandalorian an A. Of course, I'm not going to give it an A+ just because a few CGI things. But, you know, that's just being a critic. You know, if I wasn't on YouTube, I'd give it an A+ for sure. But because I'm reviewing it for you guys, I do have to be honest. And there were a few scenes where I'm like, oh, that could have looked better comparing to another scene that looked amazing, you know. So, with all that being said, that is my final review of The Mandalorian. I'm going to give it an A for the first chapter or the first episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please tell me what you thought about The Mandalorian in the comments. Again, please, 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 no spoilers for people who have not seen it. Some people don't have Disney Plus yet, or they're waiting for, you know, the full thing. So again, no spoilers. Thank you for that. So, again, the actual video is over now. So if you have not seen The Mandalorian, please leave. As much as I don't want you guys to leave my videos, please go. I don't want to spoil it for you because we are, right now, heading into slight spoiler territory. So, I'll warn you guys. May the Force be with you with that. Alright, so here we go. Big spoiler, big ending thing here in The Mandalorian Chapter 1. And, of course, the big 50-year-old, the old guy that they're all looking for, you know, that the Mandalorian and IG-11 have to work together to, of course, bounty hunt. Turns out to be a baby. But wait, is it a baby? Not really. Well, you know Yoda, right? We don't know what species Yoda is, right? That's part of the thing of Star Wars. I think two of the greatest mysteries of Star Wars would have to be, we don't know who Yoda is. He's very mysterious. Of course, there is another Yoda-type creature with Yaddle, who is in Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. I believe maybe Episode 2 and 3. I don't know. I'm you know, working on that right now. But she is in Episode 1. I don't remember her being in 2 and 3, but she is in 1. And, of course, she is a mysterious species like Yoda, and, again, her name is Yaddle. However, the second biggest mystery and best mystery in Star Wars is, of course, Snoke dying in The Last Jedi. I think that not knowing anything about Snoke was great. It didn't matter. And, of course, it feeds into the story, and, of course, it feeds into Kylo Ren's story, which, again, I'll get into when I review all these films in December for Star Wars Month. But those are my two biggest things about Star Wars. I love the mystery of Yoda, and I love that they killed Snoke without any explanation. I think it's great. However, with this baby, and even the Mandalorians, like, they look at IG-11 and they're like, this is a 50-year-old baby? And he pulls off the little thing, and it turns out to be a Yoda-type creature. Now, this is friggin' huge for Star Wars. Because, like I said, we only know about Yoda, and we know about Yaddle. That's it. We don't know what species Yoda or Yaddle is. We have nothing, you know. It's completely not even, you know, relevant to Star Wars. We know nothing. Kind of like Snoke. It's just nothing. So, that's the biggest thing. You know, it's not, oh my god, someone died, or, you know, Palpatine, or anything crazy like that. It's not the biggest spoiler in the world, but for hardcore Star Wars fans who, at least, or normal Star Wars fans, who know that Yoda is a very mysterious figure, and so is Yaddle, I think it really does lead into a lot of, you know, really important things. Of course, I was like, what the fudge, when I saw it. You know, I was like, holy crap, it's another thing. It is not Yoda, because it is canon. It takes place, I believe, after the fall of the Empire, so Yoda's dead at this time. Yeah, it's not Yaddle, for sure. Maybe people are saying it's Yoda's kid? Who knows? I don't know. I have no idea what's happening. And that's the best part. The best part about Last Jedi, going into Rise of Skywalker, I don't know what I don't know what the fudge is happening in Rise of Skywalker. It's awesome. Star Wars is usually very formulaic, right? We can always tell, oh, you know, this is going to happen that, and that person's that, and that person's that, right? Just watch The Force Awakens. As much as I love The Force Awakens, you know what's going to happen because it's all very safe and, you know, safe, I guess. And then, of course, Last Jedi just flips everything on its head for the best, and now we have no idea what's happening for Rise of Skywalker. Same thing with this. I have no idea what they're going to do with this Yoda-type creature. Is it Yoda's son, daughter? is it Yaddle's son or daughter? Who is it? You know, is it even a Yoda creature? It looks like it, and I think it was a puppet. I think. If not, that was pretty damn good CGI, but I think it was a puppet because it looked really cool. Of course, Yoda in The Last Jedi was a puppet as well, so it makes sense for them to do puppet again. So, all that being said, that is the big spoiler. The Mandalorian finds the 50-year-old, which actually is a Yoda-type creature. Because as you know, Yoda died when he was like a bajillion years old. These creatures, kind of like Wookiees, they age a lot, but they don't look like they age a lot. You know, Yoda, of course, is like a shriveled old dude, old green dinosaur, I guess. But, you know, he's not like, you know, he's not all crusty and destroyed. He's like, you know, he's flipping around and killing people and doing all this cool stuff. So, you know, these Yoda-type creatures, and of course Wookiees, they age differently. And IG-11 even says that. And of course, as they're about to, you know, IG-11's like, well, this is our target, let's shoot it, and he's about to blast it, right? And of course you hear a blaster noise, and they dupe you, and the Mandalorian kills IG-11. Now, he's a droid, and droids really don't stay dead for long. He might come back, I have no idea. I'm not a fortune teller. However, with this being said, the Mandalorian then goes to save the baby. Now, he's not a good guy, and he's not a bad guy. He's a bounty hunter. He does what he has to do to get money, kind of like Deadpool in a way. So, with this being said, he goes out to reach and touch it, and the baby kind of ETs, and then it ends. But again, that's really the biggest spoiler. There's not a whole lot of spoilers in the entire episode. That's really the big one. That, of course, the Mandalorian and IG-11, before the droid dies, finds the 50-year-old, which is a Yoda creature. So, again, please do not tell me in the comments what you think, because I don't want to spoil it for people who have not seen it. Again, this part of the video is only for people who have, so that was your warning. Again, I love it. It's great. I think they really duped me with it, and I can't wait to see what happens. So, again, that's the spoiler, and again, I'm going to give The Mandalorian an A. I can't wait for the future of A, the Skywalker Saga, the Star Wars video games, Lego Star Wars, and, of course, The Mandalorian. I can't wait. Star Wars, in my opinion, is in the brightest way possible, and it's in a great future, and I cannot wait to see what it holds in a galaxy far, far away. Thank you, guys, and we'll see you in the next video.